Welcome to the Maritime Vision podcast. I'm your host, Paul Wioli. In each episode, we bring you exclusive interviews with maritime professionals, industry experts, and students. Our guests come from different backgrounds, including shipping, yachting, offshore, and more. Our goal is to give you all the knowledge you need to succeed in the maritime industry. Welcome everyone, welcome to a new podcast episode. Today we are joined by Hyasmeen Biffi, who works as a shipbroker at BRS Shipping. In this episode, Hyasmeen will share her story, advice, and provide valuable insight into the world of shipbroking. So, nice to meet you, Hyasmeen. It's a pleasure to having you in this episode. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, please?
Nice to meet you, Paul Louis. Again, thanks for having me on the podcast. I'm Hyasmeen Biffi. I'm from Ivory Coast in Abidjan. I have been a shipbroker for the past 2 years at BRS Brokers. The company is based in Paris and in Luxembourg, and we also have offices all over the world. I have graduated for a Master in Maritime Law and a MSc in Management and International Business. So the one in Maritime Law was from the University of Le Havre, and the second one is from the University of Nottingham Trent University in the UK. So back to BRS. The company has been around since 1856, and we opened our first office in the African continent 2.5 years ago. So now we have offices all over the world now. It has been an adventure to be a shipbroker at BRS, and I will talk about this more as we go into the podcast.
Nice. Great. I would like to ask you this question. Why did you work as a shipbroker?
Okay, that would be an interesting question because initially I was not going to work as a shipbroker because you see my background is mainly maritime law and management, nothing commercial because a shipbroker is a lot of commercial part of the shipping. And I got into it a bit by luck. A friend of mine saw the opportunity. She sent it to me and I was like, okay, this looks like shipping. It's not really what I studied to do in my university ideas, but let me give it a try. So I went and I had an interview. I liked the company. I liked the business idea, and so that's how I got into it.
Oh wow! So it means you had no clue about the business before.
I had
Didn't know.
no clue about the
Oh
business.
wow!
I didn't know what was shipbroking. I was like, okay, this looks interesting. And what got me into it was actually that the company was opening the office in West Africa, and if we talk about it as we go, but it's a bit different than what we do in other offices because here is more a developing office. So we'll be developing businesses, developing new accounts, so everything is new. So it's both shipbroking and business development combined in one business. So it's really interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah,
We'll come back to this point because it's
exactly.
quite interesting, and especially about Africa as well.
Exactly.
I would like to ask you this question about: can you provide your definition of shipbroking? What is the role of a shipbroker? Of course, I did many podcasts with shipbroker, and each of them are like his own definition. So, what is your definition?
Okay. So, what is my definition of shipbrokers? Shipbrokers are intermediaries between partners or actors of the shipbroking industry or the maritime industry, if you like to say. So the easier part is we intervene every time there's a transaction between charterers or owners, charterers or shipbuilding plants, all those things. So we intervene for S&P, which is sales and purchase. We intervene when they need to ship a cargo from one port to another. We also intervene when people need to build a ship. We have different types of shipbrokers. For example, at BRS, we have 12 departments of shipbroking. So we have asset, which is S&P. We have tankers. We have specialized tankers. We have LNG, FFA brokers. We also have dry cargo brokers, which is what I do. So specifically, to take a simple example, for dry cargo brokers, we have a client who come to me with a cargo, which can be manganese, iron ore, clinker, cement. He will say, I have 50,000 tons of this cargo that I want to move since I work in West Africa, from Abidjan to China, find me a ship. He will give me a lot of information, such as the laycan, the loading rate, discharging rate, all those information that I will need, and I'll go and see different owners. I'll contact the owners and tell, hey guys, this is the cargo I have right now. Can you, your ship is available here. Is this of interest to you? If they say yes, they will give me a rate. I will come back with several rates to my client and advise him which one to take based on his LICAN and all his budget and all the plan. So this is the real simplified version of the work, but this is how it works.
Well, very clear, very clear. Thank you for that. So the goal this is actually to find the best rate, because if you
Exactly.
you need to looking for a ship owner, you need to find the best option for the customer.
Exactly. So it's to find the best rate and to facilitate information information on freight. So if, for example, if the charterers was only looking at one owner, you only get one owner. But as a shipbroker, I have a database of several owners I can talk to. So I can talk to owner in the A, B, C, D. They will give me different rates. Someone will give me USD 75, some other one say 76, 80, and I come back to the charterer and say, okay, those are the ships. So that they would, for the final decision, they can look at the ships, and a ship can be 15 years old, one can be 20, another one can be 16. So they will look at all those different details, not only the freight, to make the decision in the end and take which other owner they want to fix with. So as a shipbroker, this is what I do. I'll collect all this information, bring it to my charterer, and help them make the final decision.
Okay, so I imagine
Yeah.
if you build experience, I
Yes.
mean, if for example you're a senior shipbroker, you
Yes.
have a lot of A, B, C, D option. I mean, but
Exactly. So
yeah,
yeah, so so when you start as a shipbroker, it depends on the company you work in. Sometimes your colleague will give you the contact of the owners you already work with, if those owners have ships in your region, because sometimes we are separated in region. I work on West Africa. Some colleagues will work on East Med. Some other clients will focus on the Pacific, and the list goes on. So if the owners have ships all over the area, they will say, okay, Yasmin, we are looking at this deal, but my owner will have a ship coming into Abidjan. So let's work with it together. And like you
okay.
said, as you go, you talk to more owners, you talk to more clients. So you have a panel of owners and a panel of clients that you can always try to match as you go.
Okay. And when you start like working as a shipbroker, I imagine you don't have any, I mean, customer database on even to find ship owners. How did you manage it? Is it like easy when you work in a big company as BRS, or you still need to find your way? I can say.
Okay, this is a tricky question because, like I told you in the beginning, in West Africa, we are a developing office or developing. We are mainly focused on business developing. So unlike our colleagues who mainly already have their clients, here we have to go into the market, go specifically to the database and see. Okay, look at Abidjan. For example, in Abidjan, we have over 10 to 14 cement plants. So we have to go and talk to those guys and say, "Hi guys, we are ship brokers. We can help you manage your freight. This is how this works. Let's help you manage your freight and do all this business together." So it's
Okay.
a bit different. We have to go and create those clients, and this can take a lot of time to develop.
Okay.
So yeah, this is how it
Okay. So
works.
you need actually to build from almost from
You
scratch.
have to build from here. We are building from scratch, from the really scratch.
Oh.
And to give you an example, when I started working at the office, my colleague has been coming back and forth from between Abidjan and Europe to start talking to clients, and he has been talking to a specific client for 1 year. And that after 1 year, it gave me the client to start to keep building with that client. And it also took me more than a year before fixing with that client. So it's like 2 years
Okay.
for my
Stu-
colleague and I to fix with that client.
It's
So
a
it's a
lot.
bit different. It's a
Yeah.
lot of time. You have to build trust here. You have to make people understand you. You have to make people trust you before they start even making business with you.
Okay, so you are talking about business development. So of course, are you combining this role like with fixing ships, like with chartering part? Because as a shipbroker, you are very busy, I imagine. But if you need to make
Mm-hmm.
business development aside, wow.
Yeah, exactly. So this is what we're actually doing, developing the business here. So to put it simply, we have a lot of companies in Africa, big companies, but they work in two different ways. So either they sell FOB, which is free on board, or they buy CIF. What this means is buying FOB is buying CIF means they will buy the cargo plus the freight, and they don't really care how much or how long it will take the seller to find the ship, how much the ship will cost. They don't really care about this. They just need the ship to be at the discharging port.
Okay, interesting.
And when they buy, and when they sell now, they will sell FOB, which is free on board. So they'll put the cargo at the loading port. They don't really care how the buyer will manage to transport the good from West Africa or Central Africa to the discharging port. While this is a good way of working, it doesn't give them a good visibility on the freight market. And as shipbrokers, we come into the system and tell them, guys, the way you are working is a real good one, but the freight is the tool that can be used in so many ways. It can be a financial tool, it can be a tool that can be used to manage the stock, and all those things. It depends on how you use it. So we tell them, okay, this is the way. We can help them manage a freight like this, but as easy that this sounds, like they say, oh, this can be a good way. Like they will use it for finance, they will use it for this. But the issue here is people have been using the system for decades. Sometimes big companies, yes, they're really solid, but they've been using the system for 2 decades, 3 decades, and you want to make them change it after all this time. It can take a lot of time. But this is what we are doing. This is what we like doing. So you have to go to the client, explain the same thing over and over, and give them some visibility on the freight market, make them understand this is the shipping market, this is how the freight works, this is the FFA. We do a lot of shipping education here. And once the client understands how this works and how this can benefit them, this is when they will start opening the doors for us to make business. But again, it takes a lot of time and a lot of trust to build.
It's like consulting, actually.
A bit like consulting, yes. So we are doing consulting and shipbroking all together.
Okay, very interesting. And you point out something which is, I want to ask you this question about Incoterms. You mentioned about Incoterms, and that's something very important. How are you dealing in your daily basis task with Incoterms?
Okay. As a shipbroker, let's say that shipbroker in general, I don't really work with Incoterms like this. But when it comes to the developing part that we do as BRS West Africa, this is something that we have to talk a lot with, because if our clients still sell FOB or buy CIF, there's no way for us to help them manage the freight because they're not actually touching the freight. Someone else, either the buyer or the seller, are the one handling the thing. So if you wanted to use the Incoterms, we will be dealing with the buyers or the sellers, but not the one based in Africa.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, makes sense now. So it's not only the shipbroking side, but it's the fact that you have the business development side.
Exactly.
So it's
this is bringing the Incoterms into play.
Okay. Did you learn everything about Incoterms on the field, or you had like an educational background about it?
I had an educational background about it because I did a first master in maritime law. So we had a part about international commercial law that was into the program at the University of Le Havre. When I got into the company here, we had to do another training on CIF and FOB and how to make the client understand, okay, this is how you have to do. Those are when your responsibility will shift. Here is what new roles or new terms that you will have to include into your contract and all those things. So there is what you learn at school and how you have to put into practice here.
Okay, very interesting. So we're going to talk more about shipbroker job, but a little bit later. Now I just want to focus a little bit on. I change all the order.
It's interesting. Let's go. Let's go.
Yes.
Let's keep going.
I want to talk more about Africa because every time I talk with people in Europe, I try to enjoy this moment with you to talk about Africa as well.
Of course, enjoy.
Yeah, so always the market in Africa and especially in Ivory Coast, especially in the shipbroking side, but also in more about the port of Abidjan. Can you give us an insight about it?
Okay, so I'll give you an insight about most of the trades that are being done in West Africa that I see from where I am. So we see a lot of intra-African trades. So, for example, we see a lot of fertilizer going out of Nigeria to Abidjan, Nigeria to Cameroon. We also have some project of coal plants in Nigeria that are planning to sell the cargoes in other countries like Senegal, Congo, Cameroon, and the list goes on. So this is something that's actually developing really well, and we are hoping to see a lot of intra-African trades come into the market in the following years. We also have clinker that is imported from the Med, from Egypt to West Africa, Abidjan, Senegal, because we have a lot of cement plants. And like I said, in Abidjan, we have over 10 cement plants here. So there's a lot of cement coming in. And we also have other countries, the one that are inland, that have to go via the port of Abidjan to get the cargoes in there. For example, a lot of Malians cement plants have to go via the port of Abidjan and they import the fertilizer and the clinker via the port of Abidjan. So we have a lot of dry commodity moving into there. And we also have mining companies with who I work with who exports the cargo to China, India, and other countries. So we have manganese, iron ore, nickel ore going to China. And we also have all those commodities that are just moving in and going out all the time.
Okay. And do you have an idea about, do we have a lot of ship owner in Africa or not?
Ship owners in Africa, we have some of them that have started to implement themselves, but most of them are Europeans or Chinese that bring the cargoes in, that bring the ships into the area. But we don't have specific ship owners already established. Not big one like the one we see in Europe. But the interesting thing is we see a lot of people trying to get into the market and they're looking into buying ships or also construct ships that are really specific to the port limitation that we have in West Africa. So for example, here the draft in the port of Abidjan is 12 meters, and we can go up to 14 meters if you go to an anchorage, and some other ports are 5, 6, 7 meters. So if you have a ship that's really that can accommodate those draft, this is a good point to go. So people are looking into all those things.
Okay. And what kind of advice can you give to someone who wants to, I don't know, someone in Africa or someone who wants to move to Africa to work in the maritime industry and especially in shipbroking industry? What is the particularity of the market? Even if you talked a little bit about it, but if you have some insight.
So I would say, since we've talked about some of it already, two main particularities of the shipping market in West Africa. The first of them is trust building, because shipping is a man-to-man business, but especially so in Africa and West Africa. It's not like I can call someone, I can take my phone and say, "Hi, yeah, I'm Hyasmeen Biffi from BRS. I've seen your manganese cargo at the port of Abidjan. I can help you ship it to China, India, whatever you want." They will be like, "Who are you? What do you want from us? What is this?" No. You have to go and meet the client. You have to go to the office. You have to take them out to lunch. You have to visit them a lot of time before they trust you. And if there is no trust, there's nothing more. Sometimes my colleague and I, we have to go to other places. Like it's always traveling to Nigeria, to Togo, to Ghana. And sometimes I'll go to Ghana, Togo with him, because we have to meet the people. It's a really important part of the business over here. Meet the people, make them trust you. Because if there's no trust, nothing is moving. But the good thing is once the trust is earned, we are good to go. So that's one point. And the second point will still be the CIF and the FOB. You have to make people understand the need to switch from one to another, depending if they are sellers or if they are buyers. Otherwise, this can take a lot of time. And I would like to come back to the trust part, because for example, trust on network, because here network is really important. And something that happened last year, we're looking to developing a client into West Africa, a big player in the market, and we have to go through 3 layers of hierarchy, and we still didn't meet the person we were supposed to meet. They kept referring us to someone else. It became a headache. So we had to go via another agent that used to provide services to them, and it is the external agent who organized the meeting between us and the person we wanted to meet. So when we met that person, they asked, "Oh, why did it take you that long to meet me? You should have gone through person A, B, and C." And we're like, we actually went through them, and we didn't tell that to the client, but so
Wow,
this
yeah.
took us a lot of months. Took us a lot of months to get to that person. So if you're not that really resilient and looking into knocking at all those doors, it can take you a lot of time to develop the business.
Okay.
So you have to
Okay.
find your way. You have to find your way into all those ropes, know who to talk to, how to use this connection, how to meet that person, how to make them trust you. I keep talking about trust, but it's a really important point here.
Okay. Thank you for
For
this little insights. Very interesting.
yeah.
I want
Mhm.
to ask you on what kind of vessels are you working on? I mean, your specialization as a shipbroker.
Okay. So as BRS Group, we work on several sizes, but here I mainly work on, let's say, three main sizes. So the first of them is MPPs, multi-purpose ships, and they go from 3,000 to 16, 17,000. I also work on Handys that go from 20 to 40,000, 45,000 sometimes. And I also work on Supramaxes and Ultramaxes from 50 to 65,000 deadweight. But sometimes some of my clients might have bigger sizes that they want to ship. So, for example, the client that normally sells to the clients in China, they normally ship 50,000 or 60,000. They might say, okay, this time we have a lot of cargo at port. We want to ship 80,000 tons of manganese, of our iron ore to this place. So, since it is not the size I work with, I will call my colleagues that are in London, in Geneva, or in Shanghai based on the size, and I'll ask them to look into it with the owners that have those sizes, and I'll make the link with my clients, and we can work all of this together. So that's the good part
Okay.
about having a solid team all over the place.
Okay, interesting. So
Yeah,
actually it's the dry bulk market you're
it's a dry bulk market.
operating.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
operating dry bulk market. Yeah.
Yes, because of course we are not talking about the other markets because of course you have tanker, you have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
different market, but
Mm-hmm.
dry bulk it's I think the most common one in the shipbroking industry. You
I
agree
can
about
say
it?
yes, because it's a really common one. It's at least one of the biggest tasks in companies, much generally the dry bulk one. But the funny thing about the office in West Africa is we are specified in dry bulk, but also look into all the businesses because, like I said, we are developing. So we can look into the business of tanker, but since it's not something that we master, we make the link between the clients here and the office in Geneva or the office in Paris that can deal with the specific request of the clients. So if they want to build,
Okay.
let's say, a tanker vessel, we put them through the S&P department in Paris or the S&P department in Geneva. If they are looking to chartering a ship, we can put them through the specialized tanker or the tanker department, and the list goes on.
Okay, okay, very
Mm.
interesting.
Yeah,
And you talk at the beginning. I remember in BRS you're doing like new build as well. Can you
new
explain a
building.
little bit new building vessel? What is it exactly? This part in
Okay,
shipbroking.
okay. So new building is part of the big asset at BRS department. So you have assets, and in asset you have S&P and the new building. So a substantial purchase of ships and new building. So for example, let's say Paul Louis here is either an owner or a charter and wants to build a ship. So you go to the asset department. You'll tell them what are the specifics you want with your ship. You want I don't know, this size. You want this draft. You want all those requirements, and they will put you through shipyards. They'll make the
Mm.
contact, and they will follow the the construction process of your ship from when you make the plan to when it's delivered. They will help you through all the process. So this is what
Okay.
the new building part does. I cannot tell you the specific because this is not my part of
Yes,
the
but
of the deal, but it's an overview of what they do.
that's good overview on the. So it's kind of the same as I can say the chartering part. I mean, you need to call the ship owner and you have the
Exactly.
customer.
Because
You need to call the shipyard, which is not the ship owner,
exactly.
but
So
yeah.
yeah, so like you said, we are intermediaries. As long as there's a ship and there's a transaction, we are in there as ship
Okay.
brokers in general. So if you want to
Okay.
build a ship, we will contact you. We'll be the intermediaries between the buyers and the shipyards. If you want to charter a ship, we'll be the intermediaries between the charterers and the owners. If you want to sell a ship, will be the intermediaries between the sellers and the buyers. As long as there's a ship, there is a shipbroker. Normally,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, okay. Make
we
it
find a
very
way to
simple.
get very
Yes.
simple. That's how it is.
Okay, very interesting. And I don't know, I didn't provide you this question, but we have a competitive broker and in-house broker. Uh, do you know a little bit about the difference between both? Because I know sometimes people are confused about the difference.
Um, can you come again, please?
The difference between in-house, for example, so we have competitive broker, for example, like BRS, Clarkson,
Mm-hmm.
like very old companies in the industry, and we have as well in-house broker. I
Mm-hmm.
think those one work closely with the ship owner, but I'm not
Charters.
sure. But yeah,
Okay, so it depends on where you put yourself. So we have shipbrokers like BRS. We can both work for charterers and owners, if we are talking about the chartering side. And we have in-house shipbrokers. Those
yes.
can also be in the companies of the charterers or in the companies of the ship owners. So, for example,
Okay.
as a shipbroker, I have the visibility of both sides. A shipbroker at BRS, I have a visibility on who has the cargo and who has the ships. But for someone who is in the market, who is an in-house shipbroker of an owner, he will think about selling he will put into market the ships of his owner alone,
Mm. Okay.
and the in-house broker of a charter will only put out the cargoes of his company. So,
Okay.
for example, you have Yasmin who is a charterer. I will always put out the cargoes of manganese from Yasmin company. Iron for all the cargo that we put out will only be from my company. And if we have an owner with Paul Louis ship owner, your in-house broker will only put in the market all your ship size from handies, MPPs, all this that
Mm.
you have. They only put in the market what you have as an owner. But as a
Okay.
shipbroker, I can talk to several ship owners at the same time. So I can come to Paul
Okay.
Louis, I can talk to your in-house shipbroker and be like, okay, in-house shipbroker of Paul Louis, what size of cargo, what size of ships do you have today? And you tell me your sizes. I can go and see someone else ship owner, what sizes you have today in the market. You tell me which one, what ships he has available, what the ships are available, and all these things. So as a shipbroker, as BRS, I have a bit more visibility and talk to a bit more owners and an
Okay.
in-house ship owner.
Okay, thank you for this very clear explanation. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I was
everything is
welcome.
clear in my mind, and I hope
Mhm.
listeners as well. Um, Now let's talk more about your experience. Okay, what is the day of Yasmin life? How it looks like your daily day?
Okay, not every day is going to be the same, but if you want to put a small classification on how the day goes. So normally when I get into the office, the first thing I will do is circulate my market. Circulate my cargoes. And this involves several tasks into it. So let's say I have a manganese cargo that I'm supposed to work on. I will call my charter and ask him if the cargo is still there. Because sometimes from one day to another, the charter can fix the cargo somewhere else. So I have to call
Okay.
him and say, okay, yesterday I was working with this manganese cargo from Abidjan to China. Is the cargo still there? He will say, yes, the cargo is still there. So I will go into the market. I will see the ships that are already in the market. I will contact those owners. I will do my calculation to see how much the ship or the road is supposed to pay. So that when the owner is asking me ideas, I can provide him with some ideas on how much I think the cargo can be. Or if my charters give me an idea of a target, I can tell him that, okay, this is the target the client is giving me. Can you make it happen?
Mm.
So I will do this. I will do some calculations, and I will also see where the market stands. So this is also part of circulating the market. So I will see, okay, yesterday the market was at this level. Today the market is at this level. So once this is done, I will start looking at where the market is generally, not only the freight market, but I will look at the cargo, how much per cargoes are paying from one place to another. So I will see that the price of iron ore drop some cents or drop $1, all those things, so that I can always provide accurate information to my charterers and my owners. And
Okay.
there's also some administrative tasks into there because I have to update my cargo list. I have to update my owner's list. I have to update which ship is still in the market, which ship is gone. So it's a bit of all those things. And some days I might have client meeting. So I might have lunch with a client, or I might have to go to his office and talk to him. Or if we have we organize meeting to other places, because we not only work with clients in Abidjan, so we might have trips to Ghana, Togo, all those places. So if there is a client meeting there, I will take the flight to go and meet a client there. So those are the things that are mainly into the day to day. Circulate the cargo, check the market and where the market is, and administrative tasks to see where the market to see and organize the charters, the details, the cargoes, and all those things, and client meetings, of course. So
Okay.
this is how the day goes.
Okay, interesting. And do you have
Mhm.
what is the challenge as a shipbroker for people who want to become a shipbroker?
Okay. We have a lot of challenges, and the answer will differ from one shipbroker to another. But I would say that the three main challenges of a shipbroker would be market volatility,
Mm,
competition, and market knowledge. So market knowledge comes to how you know your market. And like I say, you cannot say, okay, I know how much my route is paying, I'm okay with it. No, you need to know how much your market is paying. You need to know what sizes are in the market. You need to know how much your cargo is valued from one place to another, depending on what your charters are. You also need to know um, what can influence the market. So if there is an issue with, let's say there is a war somewhere, how can this impact your market? You need to know all
mm.
those things. So you always need to check those data to be up to date and give accurate advice to your clients, both charterers and owners. The second point will be market volatility. Because as a broker, there are times where the shipping market is quiet. So you can spend 1 month or 2 months without zero fixture. And sometimes this can be taxing on your mental health. You can be like, okay, nothing is going on. You'll just be thinking about weird things. But this is where you need to build your resilience. And this is also where having a good team is a really key component as a shipbroker in a shipbroker's life. Because when your market is silent, the market of your colleagues can be lively, so you can go and help them work on the market. You can also keep yourself busy with other things like market information, market analysis, but keep yourself busy. And the last point is competition. Shipbroking is a highly competitive market. So once the cargo is out, you can be several brokers working on it. Or you can even have a time when you call an owner and say, oh, I have this cargo from my client. And you say, oh, someone already contacted me with this cargo. So I'm already committed. So you have to call another one and another one and another one until you find the exact owner that can give you a rate for your clients. But if you take all your time, by the time you get back to the charterer, someone came in, gave him the rate, and it's already gone. So you have to be really quick on
Okay.
your feet when it comes to those markets and those cargoes on highly competitive clients. So those are the main
Okay.
three for what I think about.
Okay. On the first one you mentioned about knowing the market,
Knowing
sometimes
the market.
are the customers asking you for projection of the market? Say, how will be the market in next month?
Yes,
Is it some?
they
Yeah.
can ask you. It's something they ask you. So luckily for us, we have a FFA desk at BRS. So every day they give us an update of where the market might be in Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, and sometime the beginning of the next year. So they can, if you need more specific advice, we can contact them, and they will give us an example of where the market might be, but sometimes even when you look at the FFA curves that they will give us, we can give a projection to your client to say, okay, this is where the market is right now. I don't think you should move because maybe the market will go down or the market will go up. Is when you have to move. So based on all those things, you should be able to advise your client on what moves to take.
Mm. Okay.
Mm, yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. So, as a shipbroker, are you like you do need to watch news every day to? How can you educate yourself to be aware of the market?
Okay, I'm not saying that you have to sit in front of your screen and watch every news every day,
Mm.
but you can. There are some websites that give you day-to-day update on the commodities. So you can have a website where they give you iron ore, what the iron ore level is today. Tomorrow you come and check. Okay, iron ore is at this level today. Manganese, you also have some website that will give you some data about where the market is every day. This is those things that you need to know. I'm talking about iron ore and manganese because those are the cargoes I follow. Iron ore, manganese, nickel ore, and all those things. So you can just go on those websites, see what the market is, and look at it. And
Okay.
also, if you see that your cargo is moving from Abidjan to China, if you can get an update on what's going on in Abidjan, what's going on in China. So if there's a holiday in China, how would this in fact impact the imports
Mm.
of this commodity to China? So you know that okay, for this next few weeks or few months, the market will be slow. So you have to be prepared for those things.
But it's not easy with multi-purposes vessels because you have different commodities. On how are you
Yeah.
managing?
Okay. So for the MPPs I work with, they don't really do big distance for the deals I work. So if I have an MPP to mainly be from Nigeria to Ivory Coast, Nigeria to Togo, all those things. So it's not like big distance from Nigeria to China. No. So it will be on handy sizes, on Supermaxes, Ultramaxes. So the one that will go to China and India, and sometimes some of them will go to the continent. So I will have to look at markets. Okay, I know this holiday is coming into China, so this can affect. I know that maybe there is this war going around, so it can affect the trade from going to the continent, or all those kind of small details that you have to pay attention to. Sometimes you
Okay.
also have to track the fuel market because this can also impact how the freight will go up and down. Because if the bunker is expensive, the freight will go up too. If it goes
Oh,
down, freight, yeah.
you have some
So
okay
there's some
correlation.
fluctuation. So
Yeah.
exactly, yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. Can you share
hmm
with us an anecdote? Maybe you have one. Can be in the maritime industry during your studies or even as a shipbroker. Anecdote you had experienced.
Okay, so I think I would talk about my first fixture that I did at BRS Shipbroker, and that was with the client I mentioned earlier. So that client, my colleague has been chasing him for over a year before giving me the client to follow. And I spent 1 year talking to this client with no real communication. So I will send him market analysis. I will send him sometime where the market stands. I will send him all the data I could find, but the client would not be giving me a lot of information back. So it was mainly a one-sided conversation for almost a year.
Mm.
And then one random Friday, the client said, "Oh, Yasmin, I have this cargo from Abidjan to this. Find me a rate." I was like,
Wow.
okay. So yeah, that was really, really funny. So I went to contact my colleagues, and luckily there was one of my colleagues in India had a ship in the area that could do the business. So I say, okay, I have this cargo. This is the rate my client is hitting. Is it workable for your owners? My colleague went, so we went a bit back and forth on the freights, on some other details on the main terms, and after maximum 2 to 3 hours, we put the ship on subs. So that was
Oh wow.
amazing. Yeah. So we
That's
put the ship on
amazing.
subs. Yes, we lifted the subs almost on time, and the deal was through. And that was
Wow.
since then, the clients and I had a smooth communication. He would give me cargoes when the cargoes are ready. He would tell me how the stock is, so there's a clear communication back and forth. And I'm really grateful that this how this is going now. And this was an amazing experience that day.
Wow.
So
Wow. Congrats for
like I
that.
said, trust. Yeah,
Nice.
thanks. Like I said, trust can take a lot of time to build with the client, but once it's earned, we are good to go. So I'm really grateful to that client for giving me that chance, and it's good. So that was a good thing.
Wow, that's so nice. But I imagine when you need to fix the ship, it can be very fast. Actually, you say you're 3 hours. So is it
Yeah.
normal in the industry how it works? The process of I find the ship, so now I need to contact the cargo owner and make this. Oh, how fast it is?
Okay, it depends. Some deals can be done in, let's say, like 3 hours. Some of them can take weeks. I'm not talking about the deal. Okay, what can take weeks is like finding a ship. All those things can take weeks for some charters. Maybe sometimes they might not have enough quantity at board. Sometimes they might see the market is too high for them, so you just keep hitting the market until they find a good rate. But when you come to fixing, it can be quickly done. So if your charterers and your owners are really good on what they want to, they know what level one is buying, other one know what level the other is targeting, and if you can find a common ground, you are good to go. You can even some this can even be done in 1 hour. So when
Mm.
charterers and owners already know each other, they already know the main terms. They don't really they don't really have to negotiate everything all over again because they have done business together in the past. Or they know this. Okay, for these clients, this is how we do the deal. So let's just fix and move on. So
Okay.
it can be really
Wow.
fast. Yeah.
I can imagine, yeah, because I'm reading this, these big books with all the contract, all the stuff,
Yeah.
and yeah, if you understand that sometimes you have these terms. I don't
Exactly.
remember, yeah, so say
The main
within
terms.
1 hour.
Okay, so like I said, it depends on the client. So for example, for the client I was talking to, the main terms was not that long or that complicated. So owners look at it, they made some changes on clause one, clause two, clause three, and they say, okay, charterers saw it again. Charterers say, okay, the change makes sense, let's move on. So the deal was gone. But sometimes you might have a charter that will say, I don't want to change my main terms, and owner say, I don't want to do with those main terms. So we just go back and forth for a long time. But at some points, if all goes well, they can find a common ground and they can move. But if they cannot find a common ground, they'll have to drop the deal, and you have to look again for another ship.
Okay.
So yeah, the main term can be a point. So it can be a point where owners and charters would have to discuss a lot. Some other times, if everything is fine, they'll be like, okay, let's go.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it
Very
depends on
depends.
the other parties.
Okay, okay, it's good to know, but yeah, actually, yeah, I imagine it depends a lot. So now I want to ask you a last question, of course, because
Sure,
it's
go
already
ahead.
more than 40 minutes we
Oh
talk
my
on.
God, that was
Yeah,
time
yeah,
flew really
going fast.
fast. Yeah, it was going fast.
It's a good sign. So
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, what do you want to add? Firstly, what you really want to something you want to talk about, or maybe
Mm-hmm.
or if you want to give advice for people in the industry. I let you the choice,
Oh,
decide
okay.
what topic
I
you
think
want to.
I'll go with advice for someone who want to build
Okay.
a shipbroker. Uh, I would say be ready to learn and be ready to know the market. Don't be afraid to reach out to people.
Mm.
To a bit like what you are doing, go on Skype, go on LinkedIn, talk to the guys, see someone shipbroker at this company, contact them. And funny enough, you'll be surprised on how shipbrokers talk a lot on Skype. So if he's not replying on LinkedIn, maybe try to see on Skype if you can find that person. And introduce yourself, try to talk to them, explain, ask them what made them choose to be a shipbroker. If they would they change the career, or ask them to give you advice. But be ready to learn. Second point
Mm.
would be to build resilience, because this is something really important in the market. Because if when you start as a shipbroker, not everyone will open the door that easily as charterers or even owners. So be ready to knock at all those doors possible until you get what you need to get.
Mm.
And the last point would be work on your communication skills, because you're always talking. Whether you are typing, calling, sending an email, you are always communicating and negotiating with your clients. So be ready to do all those part of communication. Okay, but I said I was going to give three advice, but the last one would be give it a try. You never know
Mm.
until you try. Just go. Take, do an internship, do a 1 year, do something. Go to the market is not rocket science. Shipbroking is not rocket science. You just have to be ready to understand the market and be ready to put everything that you have into it and see what happens for you. So that's a good thing.
Thank you for this advice. It's
Yeah, I
a
was welcome.
big big plus for listeners, and
Yeah, I hope.
of course, yeah, of course, we need to apply this. It's good to listen, but the best thing is to apply all these
Apply,
advices.
exact, apply. Yeah.
Um,
So don't
so
be
thank
afraid.
you. Yeah, don't be afraid. That's very important, especially when you are young and you don't have experience. It's hard
Mm-hmm.
sometimes to knock the door to these very experienced senior people in this industry,
Mm-hmm.
which is sometimes
Mm-hmm.
old industry,
Yes,
shipping.
and
Yeah.
also sometimes graduate programs are a really good things to look into it, because, for example, at BRS we have a graduate program in which
Mm.
we take fresh graduates and we let them experience all the departments of BRS, and they can look at, for example, you can start in dry bulk, then move to move to S&P, and then tankers, and you can have a look at all those departments, and at the end you can choose which one you want to stay in if you want to stay in the company. So those kind of programs can be really good things for new graduates who want to look at shipbroking from afar or close and see how it goes.
Okay, it's good to know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
very interesting. Thank you, Yasmin, for this episode. It was a pleasure to talk with you.
Pleasure to talk with you too.
I wish you all the best and maybe see you around in Abidjan, maybe, I don't know.
Waiting to see you here. It would be
Yes.
nice to have you here.
Yeah,
And I
thank
wish
you.
you all the best with your podcast. And maybe we can even have a next talk on it if or even when you want. So have a good
With
one.
pleasure. Thank you,
Okay.
Yasmin.
Yeah,
Have
most
a nice
welcome.
day.
Have a nice day
Bye-bye.
too. Bye bye.
Thank you for listening and watching this episode. We are looking forward to bring you more inspiring stories from maritime professionals, experts, and students. Do not hesitate to leave a review on Apple Podcast and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Your support means a lot to us, and it greatly helps in our continuous growth. We're committed to bringing you more exciting episodes with passionate guests.